Welcome back, students. So today we will go through some of the theory part of file handling. Now that you are able to create models, and inside that models you are able to create functions. So this particular topic that we have covered in the last class, you're supposed to use that in your project. So when you develop your project, okay, just like this one, what we had done. Okay, so we have to create modules. Inside the modules we have to you know use create these functions, and then these functions you have to call it in the main program. Fine. So we will take some example. I will show you an example how to do that, but before that we will take some leftovers. We will take some theory part, and that is about the various modes that we have in file handling. So let me just have one table out here. Okay, so this is the mode and the action that it takes, the file mode I'm talking about. If it is not visible to you, I'll just increase the size. Now it will be very much visible to you. Also, let me just take this to the center, the text. Now this is looking good. Okay, so the first mode that we have learned about was the R mode, and this particular mode will open the file in which mode? Open the file in read mode. Open the file in read mode, but if mode, if the file exists, if the file exists, else there will be IO error. Okay, so if you're trying to open a file which exists, so there won't be any problem as such if you're given the path also perfectly right. But if you try to open any file which does not exist, in that case it is going to, the Python is going to raise an error. That will be the IO error. So then we have the W mode. In W mode, what happens? If the file, if the file if the file does not exist, what will happen? If the file does not exist, it will get created. That's the first point to remember. And okay, let me just make this into a points. That is this one. Let me make this over here, and this is too big, I guess. Just a minute. Even this will be quite visible to you. And one more thing we can do is bring this over here, so we have more space to type. Okay, so if the file does not exist, it will get created. That's the first point. If the file exists, what is going to happen? If the file exists, the data or the file will get truncated. Okay, the file, which means the existing data will get deleted. The file will get truncated or truncate. Okay, the file will get truncate means if there is any existing data in the file, it will get overwritten, the data will get erased, and now the data that you are going to write onto the file, that particular data will be written onto that file. So that's the two modes, that is R mode and the W mode. And then we have one more mode, and that mode is the append mode. The append mode. So the append mode, the first point is that the file is in write mode. Even this is a write mode. You can only write onto that particular file. If the file exists, what is going to happen, student? If the file exists, the data will be retained, right? The previous data, whatever you have written, that will be retained, and now the new data that you're going to write, it will be written at where? It will be written at the end of the file. Data will be retained, that's it, more than sufficient. And what if the file does not exist? Then the same rule will follow, that is for the W rule, that if it does not exist, it will get created, right? So that's the three important modes. Then there are two more important modes that you should know. In fact, three more. And let me have another slide for that. I'll just copy this and paste it. So that's the another slide in front of you, okay? And now I'll make, see, this is the first slide and second slide. I just copied and pasted it. So that is the R plus mode. Now R plus mode, you can use it. So over here the file is in read mode, and the first point in fact should be, that is over here, that the file should exist. The file should exist, otherwise error. Okay, the file should exist, or else I/O error. Okay, both reading and writing can be done. Now that's the importance of R plus mode. We can read from the file as well as we can write onto that file. Okay, now this is what is given in the book, but you need to understand the file pointer, where exactly the file pointer is. Depending on the file pointer, okay, you have to very carefully write the data onto the file. Otherwise, you may overwrite the file on an existing record. So you need to be very careful where the file pointer is. So both reading and writing can be done. That's it. And then we have the W mode, W plus mode. So over here, if the file does not exist, it will get created. Yes. And if the file exists, the file will get truncated. Even the second point is as it is. And both, that's the same thing, both reading and writing can be done. That's the only difference between W and W plus mode. Maybe the examiner can ask you this question, what is the difference between a W and W plus mode? So you have to answer, children. And then we have the A plus mode. So file is in write mode. If the file exists, the data will be retained. And if the file does not exist, it will get created. Everything will be same, only that last point, both reading and writing can be done. That's the common thing, that's it. So these are the total 6 modes. Okay, what I will do is I will give this PDF to you. I'll create a PDF. How to create PDF? Click on file, click on export PDF. Everything is very straightforward nowadays. And let me just save this in my folder, that is of class 12. and over here I will save it with the name modes, file modes, file modes, and then I'm going to share this with you. Fine. So that's the PDF that got created. So I hope now that everything is this theory is very much clear to you. And now we will go to the program that we had created. This was only the update record that I created, and then there was import OS, and we also had deleted the file. All these basic operations now you can easily you can do it. I am just going to show you how you are supposed to create a module, and we are going to have all the functions in that particular module, and then you can import that module into your program, and then you can use that function. So the first module that we can create is maybe okay, that is the menu that was over here. Then choice is equal to 1, and this was the program, and this was the function, that is the write record. Now this write record function we can put into a module. So let us create a module, and that is this one, and let me name this module, save this module with file operations, file operations, file operations, and I must have this as a Python file. Let me just save this, that is file operations. That's the name of my module. Let me just pick that this was the right record. Okay, and so you can do this. Okay, when you develop your projects you can do this, and you can start developing projects, children. Even that was another thing that I wanted to discuss with you. So I have just you can okay, I'll just go through the records that exactly how many students we have once again, and then you can start developing projects. You can come up with your own topics also, and you can share it with me. Simple topics you can take, like the student report card, simple as what we have everywhere, because we don't want to waste a lot of time behind this. You have to focus more on the theory part also, the theory exam that is of 70 marks. Practical, yes, it is also very important, but we don't have to give a lot of time behind this. So you can come up with your own topics, like the student report card generation, the library system. There are many projects, children. Okay, if you surf on the internet you will get many topics. The topic that is very simple and straightforward, that is hotel reservation. That is another topic that you can take. And okay, student report card is a good project. Hotel reservation is also another good project. You can do your research work. Okay, and then you can come up with your own topics also, and then we will finalize this week, and then you can start working on the projects. So this is while you develop the projects, just give some around daily some around 1 or 2 hours onto your project, and within 1 month that project will get ready. Okay, so this was the module, that is file operations, and this was the main program. I just removed this particular function and I copy that into the module, that is file operations.py. Now this is a module, and inside this module this is a function, and this is not the only function that we can have. We can have many functions in this particular module, and this module we are just going to import, and we are just going to import this module. We are not going to run this file. We are just going to use this as a module and going to import it and use it. So let me just go over here, and now if I try to run this particular program, so if I, since this is an interpreter, it will not give the error unless and until I try to enter some data. So enter record, registration number maybe 10, roll number, that is 1, and here it is, and there is an error, that is write record, it is not finding it. So let us help our program to find the function, and that I can do it by saying import, and then I can say file operations, that's it. Or another way that I can do is imported but not used. Okay, so we have imported this particular module, and now that I have to use this particular over here, that is over here. So I have to use that module name, isn't it? The module name and the function dot, that is very important, and you can see that it is showing the name of the function. And now if I try to run this particular program, class is, section is A, that's it. Okay, so display, we haven't written the code for display, we can straight away open the file and check the data. So display also you can write it children, and display you have to display the record in a very well formatted manner, make sure that. So this is how you can do it. Another way of doing it was, that was from, isn't it, from file operations import and the name of the function, that is write record. I'll copy this, write record as W, and then you can, if you have gone through my previous class, I have used all this. Then I can say W over here. Okay, and now you can see even this is another way I can do it. So from file operations I am importing which function, that is write record, and I'm just giving an alias name to it, that is W. So this is just another name for this particular function, and then you can see I've straight away used that particular name or out here, and this is how to do it. And if you have some multiple functions, you can do it by using a comma. So function 1, then comma, and then the another function, as you can give some name, and so on. So this is how you can create modules, and inside the modules you can create the functions, and you can import the functions. So this way, this particular program, your project will be broken down into pieces. Your project should be broken down in at least around 5-6 modules, and then the modules will be having the functions, and then there will be only one main program, and that main program won't be like too long, it will be very short program, because rest of all the coding, it is into modules, and the modules will have functions, so everything will be in modules only. And in the main program you are just supposed to give a call to the function, and this is how the project will get constructed. So make sure children, when you are developing your projects, your project should be into modules, that is very important. And this is also very, when you create modules, you will find that it is very easy to manage your code. Otherwise a single file where there is 1,000 line of code, it becomes difficult for you to manage the code. But when you break down the code into modules, you will easily realize that the managing of the code is now easy. Fine. So this is something that you can implement while developing your project. Definitely you should implement this. That is the reason that we have learned it. So children, this was the thing, and few more things like during your exams for file handling, make sure you have you know very well how to read a file line by line. Suppose the question has been asked that how to, okay, read only the lines from a file, you know, the only the lines which are starting with capital A. If that is the code, so how you going to write such a code? So how to do it? Once again I will show you. That is, you can simply open a file. I will only type the code, I'm not going to run this. So there will be a file handler, you can use it, or you can say file read, or normally this is the word that is used, that is fin, that is file in read mode. So then I say open and xyz dot txt. So this is how you're supposed to write it in your exam. Open it in R mode, and then you can do it various ways, that is reading the entire file into a list. So for that you have to use read lines. Otherwise you can read line by line using the read line. How you can do it? Both the ways I will show it to you. Okay, first using read line. So read line, what you do is use a variable line, and that is fin dot read line. Use the function and then use a while loop, pass that line. This will break once the line will have end of file. So this while loop will break, do not worry about it. And then since this is the first line, right, this will read the first line, and you have to check whether that particular line, the first character is A, B, or anything that has been asked to you. So you can simply say if, now this is a string, line is going to have a string, and strings have index values. So you have to only check if line, that is the index value 0, if it is equal to A or whichever character that they have asked, maybe at the starting or at the end, maybe certain twist and turn will be there. Okay, but that you should be able to track it. And if it's so, then I will simply use print line. That's it. And then one more important thing is, again for the second line, third line, again we require this statement, otherwise this will be an infinite loop. That's it. That's the only code that you require. So this is the read line function. This is the program that we have implemented using the read line function. And similarly you can use read lines. When I say read lines, so this is going to read the entire file and going to return that list. And what that list is going to have, the list is going to have, okay, let me just a minute, have this, I'll copy this and let me just paste it on one more PDF, one more slide I meant to say. Let me just make this empty, and maybe I will take only a text box, paste it, and the size. So this is the code for, you know, reading only the lines that are reading and printing only the lines that are starting with capital A. Certain twist and turn can be there, children. Okay, so you should be able to tackle that. So I will just give a question also to this. So insert over here. So the question can be read a file with name xyz.txt and print the lines from the file starting with A. So such kind of question can be asked. Increase the size. So that's the question and that is the answer. Let me just copy and paste it. So this will be like a notes for you. And then the same program, over here I have to remove the read lines. And now we can use that read lines. So this is going to return a complete list, isn't it? This is going to return the complete list, and then I don't require a while loop. What I will do is use maybe for I in L. That's it. So I will have the first line, that is the first element from the list, and then check if I, now I is going to have the first line, second line, and so on. So just check the index value. If it is equal to capital A, print I. That's it. And over here we don't require any other function to be called, just like what we did in a read line, because the entire file is anyway present in the list and the elements of the list are the lines of the file. That's it. This is the another way of doing the program. So let me just copy the same thing, and over here I'll paste the okay, it did not got copied. I guess I did not copy this. Okay, let me just copy this, and now let me just see this. Okay, so this is another way that you can do it. So this PDF file is getting created. I'm going to share this with you. And then children, we have another program like how to search for a word in a given file. How to search for a word. How you want to do that? For example, if I have, let me just, for this we need to create a file. So okay, let me just create a file, and let me just delete this. Okay, and I will simply say I study in Sunbeam Academy. There might be huge data into this file. Let me just save this file, and while saving the file, save this as a text file. So I will say XYZ, that's it, and simply save it. And now go to the program again. I will open the file, that is XYZ, in read mode. And then how you going to search? So you have to ask for the word to be searched, or in the exam they might tell you to search for a particular number. So over here let us just check, let us just assume that the word is sunbeam. So the word is maybe, let me see whether I have written the same way or not. Sunbeam. Sunbeam. And you can try this program with huge data file also. So that is the word, and then what we need to do is we can use the read lines, that is fin dot read lines, and then what we have to do is for I in L. So I will have the lines, elements of the list that are lines. So the first line. So once the first line comes, so let me just say I will break the lines into another list, that is list 2, and I can say I dot, and then I will use the split function, and I'm not going to pass anything to the split function. So by default it is going to take the space. So that space it is going to consider as the delimiter over here, and then all the words are going to come into L2, and then you have to simply say if what, if word in L2, we're just doing the checking. If it is, then you can simply print that word, or you know, or you can also go for the index value and all. Okay, that you can do it. So right now we'll just print it, and that's it. Let me just run this program, save this, find word, this is a Python file, and save it. Okay, now let me just run this, and no such file or directory, that is xyz.txt. Okay, so अच्छा xyz.py हो गया ये. Let me just have one more, paste it over here, copy this, and now let me just save this, xyz.txt इस नाम से देते हैं. Okay, okay, there is the file, and this is the program. Let us run this, and you can see it has printed that word, that is Sunbeam out here. You have to use a lot of logic while developing such programs. You can also find the number of line. So you can easily say that if I want to show on which line this word was present. So how I can do that, children? How to do it? You can simply use a counter, that is maybe over here, that is a counter is equal to 0. Now after I read the first line, for I in L, let me just increment the counter, so plus equal to 1, and then this operation will get performed, and I can say that the line, the word is present at line. Now it can be at multiple lines also, no issues, it is going to print all those lines. The word is present at line what? At line, that is counter. Now let us just run this, and now over here there is a syntax error, very good, and the syntax error is we are not given double quotes. Okay, so the line is present at what? Line 1. So you can see that's line 1 itself. Now let me just type something else over here. Okay, then somewhere over here we have, okay, there has to one space needs to be there, and somewhere over here again, that's it. Now 20 lines are there. Let me just save this, run this, and you can see the word is present at line 1, the word is present at line 9, line 13, line 17, and you can see the file. You can see this line numbers are over here. It is present line 1, then line 9, you can see, then 13, then 17, right? So this is how you can do it, children. Looks good. This program is also good. Let me just copy this and paste it in the PDF file for you. Otherwise, just a minute. Take the same, copy and paste, and I'll paste it over here. Again, the same thing is happening. Okay, let me just copy this properly. Achha, it got pasted. I need to just decrease the size of this. Okay, so that's the program, children. So this is the program, and this is a program to find a word in a given file. So that's it, children. So I'll just give this PDF file to you. Take it, practice it, whatever we have taken today, and start developing your projects and let me know which topics you are taking. Otherwise I will give the topics to you. Do not worry. Take some simple and easy topics. We don't have to spend a lot of time onto developing the projects. Okay, so I'm ending the session, children. Bye for now.